at what's making headlines in the newspapers now, and we start with the Star and their lead story this morning. It's more Bosasa heat for Cyril, a pressure on President to act over Princeling's son's dealings with the controversial company. President Cyril Ramaphosa is in the firing line over his son Andile's questionable dealings with controversial company Bosasa, as COSATU and the United Democratic Movement call on the president to hand Andile over to the police. Also on that front page, yesterday, Malema cleared of hate speech. The EFF has accused those who hold its leaders before the South African Human Rights Commission for apparent hate speech of trying to settle or rather stifle its views on land. And then also at the bottom there, and this story about voter Basson and High Court victory for apartheid regime's chemical warfare doctor. In a victory judgment for cardiologist Dr. Voter Basson, the head of the apartheid government's chemical and biological warfare projects, the committee members who presided over his disciplinary hearing have to recuse themselves. So that's what that story is about, and that takes care of the front page of the Star this morning. And looking at Sowetan, stripped of her dignity. Now, social media also going quite big on this particular story. And this is a story about a woman who was humiliated, Soweto waitress accused of stealing and told to smile and carry on working after she was strip searched. And strip searched in the most heinous way because she was said to be on her monthly period as well, and totally stripped down because there was an allegation, or rather a suspicion, that she may have stolen some money at her work establishment, which turned out to be not the case. And that's a picture of her there, Nikita Njingila, and she was allegedly strip searched at Moja Cafe in Soweto, and she's bitterly complaining that she was humiliated by that particular action. And also there on that front page, Andile's 2 million rand not linked to my campaign. That's President Cyril Ramaphosa. And identical twins, identical lives. Some of the stories you can find in today's Sowetan. Looking at the Citizen now. And the Citizen, their lead story is on e-tolls. E-tolls on ice is what it says. But the South African National Roads Agency, that's SANRAL, has suspended the collection of debt from motorists just weeks before elections. However, there's been no official announcement suggesting that this signals the end of the controversial system. And yes, that's indeed where the problem is and where the suspicion arises from. And people again asking, is this merely an election ploy? Because if it was so solid, why isn't there an official announcement to this effect? But as the news story read there as well, Wayne Duvenage also saying this is not the end, still need to push through here. And also they call for rescue of building firms. Representative bodies are calling on government to help save the construction industry. But what can be done? And this has been a very interesting story because the construction industry find themselves in a situation whereby there are rogue people, units, who are just walking onto construction sites and demanding to be given a piece of the pie. And also Cyril fighting power battle within the ANC. Corruption allegations surrounding Ramaphosa's son Andile are stoking the fire, says a political analyst. And that's today's Citizen. And finally, we come to the business day. And I will need all the help I can get. And that's coming from the new SARS boss. And that story, of course, trending on Twitter as well. And Edward Kiswet, yesterday appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa, that announcement made. He will take office on the 1st of May. And he's, of course, former Alexander Forbes CEO. And he wants to restore the agency wrecked by years of state capture. Also there, the e-toll story, end of the road for e-tolls in sight. But is it? That's the question many are asking in the absence of any official proclamation proclamation, and also the rand slump puts paid to interest rate hopes. And those are some of the stories the Business Day is carrying today. So that's what's making newspaper headlines this morning. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll speak to the ANC and the veterans in particular to talk about what has been happening in the lead up to the elections, and especially the lists and those implicated in wrongdoing who find themselves on the list to Parliament and provincial legislatures. So do stay with us for that.